Hello YouTube. I have yet another thrift store score. I apologize for this wire, but this iPod is low on battery, so here we have it. Today we have a NAD CD player. It's a 5325. Now NADs are pretty sought after pieces of equipment of the 80s. And Gerald from the record store that I used to work at, he refers to these as audiophile on a budget, mainly because NAD's components usually don't have a lot of features to them, but they sound really good. I mean, it's just plain and simple. It's just a CD player, but it has a really good digital audio converter. I've listened to it already in his store, believe it or not. I picked this up for $10 at the Goodwill, which is an insanely good price for any piece of NAD equipment. And we'll have a look at it here. First of all, you get a power button, you get the tray, open close button, display, repeat, scan, memory, clear, so you can actually program it. You get play, pause, reset, and skip. Skip, of course, changes tracks. And you have a very simple display. It displays the track and the index by default. It also has an IR sensor for a remote, so I might try to get a universal remote for this thing sometime in the future. The back is extremely simple. The back has just RCA and power. That's it. Now this is NAD Electronics Incorporated. This thing was manufactured in 1989, March of 1989. So it's fairly late in the 80s, but NAD stuff is still very, very, very sought after. This cord's getting in the way, but anyhow. One thing you might notice about this CD player is, because it looks to me like it's a budget model, but NAD's budget models were still outstanding. They just didn't have a whole ton of features to them, which I like. I don't like CD players that have just so many features that I'd never use. The way I use a CD player is similar to how I use a record player. I stick the disc in, I press play, I select a track if I want to sometimes. That's really it. I mean, that's the way they function for me. And one thing I have to take note of is that the mechanism for the CD player is one of the smoothest I've ever seen. Look at this. Wasn't doing that before. There we go. Maybe there's a sensor in there that's a little dirty. It's got suspension here for the disc, which is a little interesting. You don't see that on a whole lot of CD players. Although you do see them on the audiophile ones from the 80s a lot of the time. But that is just a smooth and quiet mechanism right there. That's insane. Although it likes to close itself every now and then, but I think that has to do with either a dirty sensor or a dirty switch. Now, how are we going to test this? With CDRs. This is a transfer of a Wes Montgomery reel-to-reel tape I made a couple years ago when I used to work at this company called Disc Hounds, where we transferred audio and video to newer formats. Stop it! Thank you. So, we will test to see if this thing can play CDRs, because I know it has a really good digital audio converter, but it needs to play CDRs for me to keep it. And it appears that it can, because it read it without any problem very fast. So what I'm going to do is get the speaker in phase and demonstrate it.